Hello and welcome to Two Guys and a Few Good Men. I am TJ Washuk.
And I'm Garrett Loberg.
And this is Movie Lowdown for the week of November 12th, 2018.
So let's get right into the news.
First up on the news, we have a... well, first off, I want to say rest in peace, Stan Lee. He died this week. He is the creator or co-creator of most of the Marvel characters we see today.
Most of them that we love and watch for.
Yeah, like Spider-Man, Thor,
Iron
Hulk,
Man.
Iron Man. But Netflix, there's some news about Netflix here that they have a nice little hidden tribute. If you type in Excelsior! Exclamation point, and that's EXCELSIOR! Exclamation point. You'll get a list of all the Marvel movies. Now that's one of his sayings, Excelsior. I believe he says it in a few of the cameos. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see them doing that.
Yeah, it's and as somebody, I think we were talking about this last week, as their algorithm sucks terribly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can type in Marvel and still get like DC movies.
Yeah.
So this is cool because Netflix, they should take from this that you should maybe like work on, doing more
fine-tuning your
searches. Yeah, so that way like you type in DC and you get all DC movies. You type in Marvel and you get all Marvel movies. But this is really cool because I'm sure that they did it too, where it's all his features that he worked on when he was writing. Mm-hmm. But this is something that they can at least, this is pretty easy for people to go, oh, cool, well, a bunch of Marvel movies. Now I can watch these, and I didn't know they had this one.
Yeah.
They should really look into that and start figuring out, or action or whatever, because I feel like when you search that stuff, it really, you're searching through like a big pile of movies almost.
Yeah, it's not always even superhero movies, sometimes it's action.
Action, dramas
Drama
too.
a lot, too.
Oh, yeah. So this is really cool, and it's really nice that they did that for Stan Lee. All right, next up, we have the garbage pile, known as AQUAMAN. Exciting.
It just puts another nail in its coffin.
Yeah, and if you have Amazon Prime, you can see how shitty this movie is 5 days before anyone else, which you have Amazon Prime, so we will be definitely watching this here. And
oh no, you have to get the ticket. You buy the ticket. And then you go to the theater. Yeah, that's what it says. It's only at select theaters.
Well, then I guess never mind. I thought they were releasing it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Somebody must have got that mixed up. Okay. Well, either way, I mean, if this was like a screening, it would be called a screening. And this is really just hey, let's get a bunch of people in as fast as we can on Saturday, the 15th. And even if they don't like it, people are still going to come to the premiere.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be 7 p.m. showing, so probably just one showing, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It's going to be at Regal Cinemas, Cinepolis, Bowtie Cinemas, ArcLight, Showcase Cinemas, Studio Movie Grill, and that's about it. AMC is not showing it, and also Cinemark is not either.
Well, we do have
Regal.
Regal, yeah. So, but I still wouldn't pay.
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't pay
Unless
money.
there's even a discount.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, this looks like such a beautiful movie. That's what pisses me off so much, is that it looks so good. They animate their movies great. Mm-hmm. They animate them perfect. I think there's only been a couple of handfuls of things that I've ever hated out of these Zack Snyder movies.
Yeah.
In the sense of the animation. But why can't they fucking write movies?
I don't know.
Like
they have their comic book, or not their cartoon movies are awesome.
And here's the thing that I read recently was that all the animators are avid. They're all avid comic book readers. So that's why their animated movies come out so beautiful and great. But the executives at WB, they're because I remember reading a story.
They're more movie heads than
they
comic
are,
book
and
fans.
what they do is they'll read one comic.
Oh yeah, because they rush it.
Yeah, and they'll read one or two comics, and they'll talk about that one or two.
That's
comics.
the difference between Marvel. Because the Marvel, I think they require their actors to read like multiple.
Not even
comics.
that. Just the directors alone. Like if you watch a lot of their commentaries, you'll see them. They'll dive into it. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, I got on the Marvel app and I just started reading."
Yeah.
And they're like, I just kept going through them, and that's why you see such a big, wide variety of things that are in movies. Like you can pull certain things from different comics and put them in another comic. Like Thor Ragnarok was a big one that they took like 5 different things. They took Off-World, what was it? Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
And they put Ragnarok. They also there's a bunch of Infinity stuff in there. There's just a lot of stuff that's
just meshing into it.
Yeah, and that's the cool part, and that's what they don't realize. I think at DC is they're like, oh, this one we're gonna stick with this one comic.
This one comic, yeah.
And like Batman vs Superman, it was so like the comic. It was just like a shittier version of the comic book.
Exactly.
So,
or even the cartoon animated movie.
Yeah. So DC, I feel so bad because they have the animation down, they have the animated down.
Yeah.
They just need to figure out, like, they need to just take somebody and have them sit in a room for 15 hours and just read comic books.
Yeah.
And then take as many, like, you'll notice, like...
Or have actual fans make the movies.
Yeah, some like, have, like, a focus group or something, because, like, if they, like, Wonder Woman, they're fine, because they took somebody that, even she says in the commentary, I remember, not the commentary, in, like, an interview.
Not Margot,
the girl, I'm
Gal Gadot?
Yeah. No, not even her. It was the director.
Oh,
and she was like, she's
Zack
like,
Snyder's wife?
Yeah, whoever it was, I remember watching the video, and she was like, I took so many comics, and I kind of like read as many as I could, and that was like a breath of fresh air. Like, oh, okay, so she actually read the source material, because if you only use one thing for the source material, you're gonna get something that's like Batman vs Superman or Justice League. It was like they read 1 comic or 2 comics of Justice League, and they're like, oh, all the people are together now, so let's do the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Also, I found out that William Dafoe is in the movie.
Yeah, he's the one that trains Aquaman. He's like his like trainer.
Okay. Yeah, because he was in of course, Spider-Man.
He was supposed to be in Justice League. They
Oh,
cut him
really?
out. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it like Aquaman's trainer?
Yeah, like
Okay.
his advisor,
Mentor,
I guess. Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah, because he said he actually liked working on this film a lot.
mm-hmm. And you can see him actually in the trailer at one point when he's like fighting.
Oh,
on that beach
I guess I
scene.
never noticed.
Well, because I mean, like, unless you like read into it, like,
Yeah.
you really can't figure that out. But they were just saying that he didn't get any screen time, like his face, but that one scene where he's like battling, like,
on
in
the
training,
beach.
yeah, that's supposed to be him. But and they released a picture of him for the movie.
Yeah, I saw that.
That looks really cool.
That's why I found out.
So, but this is like, I really don't want this to be. I'm hoping that this isn't another Venom, because I don't think that, like, I don't have any problem fighting against DC or Marvel. I really don't care. I'm in it for the action.
Exactly.
So
just make quality.
Just make quality over quantity, and and that's the thing. And like, this looks like quality in the design, but in the dialogue and everything, it's just
we don't know.
Yeah.
But having Amazon release this early and then also coming out to China first just makes me wonder what.
Well, you're bringing all your big guns by sending it to China. You're putting in.
It usually goes to China after the U.S.
And China will always usually do better than us with their box office, to be honest.
Well, right now, because China has a big growth right now, as opposed to us, we're going downward, and people going out to movies.
Mm-hmm. So, and I think this Christmas is going to solidify if the movie industry is really just getting pummeled by the gaming industry.
The gaming, and also Netflix and other streaming services, where it's so much easier just to be at your house and pay only $20 a month.
Yeah.
And you get shit ton of movies and TV shows.
Did you notice that there's not a lot of Netflix movies coming out in December?
Yeah, I mean, the last one that just came out, never mind. Well, yeah, you're right. It's all in November is like the cutoff, it seems like.
I wonder if they made a deal with somebody in the movie industry or something like that and said, hey, we'll put out our stuff in the middle of the year because nobody really notices that. And then the film industry was almost like, hey, do you mind if we have like a really big December and you guys don't put anything out? Because that would be the only thing that would cripple the movie theaters, is if they put out like a bunch of, like last year they brought out Bright,
Oh yeah, that's right, Brian.
There was a couple of movies they were releasing. They released the I believe the Cloverfield was that in January.
That came out after the Super Bowl.
Okay, so that was in February.
Yeah.
Either way, like there was.
Remember, there was a commercial for it during the Super Bowl.
That was right. Okay, so like they can bring that stuff. They can bring the fire. I mean, like I sat there and watched Bright. The only reason it was because it was so talked about.
Yeah.
But I still watched it and I didn't go to a movie. So
true.
That makes me part of a statistic right there. And I know you saw a movie. So I mean, and that's a thing that you guys do every year. So that makes sense. But for the person like me, it's going to be us going to see that movie. And if it weren't for this, I really wouldn't, be going to the theater. Like, it's just one of those things.
Right. Well, since we're on that comic book talk, Sony and Venom are doing great. Sony just broke $2 billion internationally, and then Venom just passed $700 million worldwide. Now, the $2 billion that Sony broke internationally is not just thanks to Venom, but it did play a significant part.
Of course.
But that was also due to Hotel Transylvania 3, Peter Rabbit, Equalizer 2, which probably not many people saw that one.
No.
Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle was kind of towards the Christmas time, but still people watched it in January, maybe February even.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to pass even, more than 2 billion because, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is coming out, and then Holmes and Watson right before the year ends.
Can you imagine if they did not put out Venom this year?
Yeah, if they didn't put out Venom this year, it would have been a loss for them.
It would have been a terrible year. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies right there that are like their saving grace, and none of them even were talked about.
Yeah. Well, Equalizer 2, that was not that big of a movie. The first one was even that big.
Yeah.
It's
more of a cult.
Yeah, exactly. Cult following. And then Peter Rabbit, I mean, that's a big kids movie. Hotel Transylvania 3. Not many people see the third one. They usually stick with the second and then wait for the third to come out.
I thought that's a summer vacation movie.
No.
Okay, so that was only 3 movies that they had to really supplement the rest of their year. Yeah, they were really. Yeah. That was a pretty big move to bank on the fact that Venom was going to be their big movie of the year. That's pretty, and I really apologize to Venom for talking so much crap because really, like, it was a great movie.
Oh, yeah. And also moving on from this, it says here that the first time Sony has passed the 2 billion threshold this early has been 2012, October 31st, which was when they had Skyfall, 007 Skyfall, The Amazing Spider-Man, Men in Black 3, 21 Jump Street, and the original Hotel Transylvania. That was a big year for them. That was probably their biggest year they've had in years. And now it's just went boom.
And that's then 5 movies too, but you got to remember that Skyfall was a super big movie at that time because it was
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was huge.
Big.
Men in Black,
big.
21 Jump Street was
huge.
Like that was a small release at first, and then it blew up.
A lot of people liked it.
Mm-hmm. And Hotel Transylvania was
that was a success.
It was a huge
success.
That's
why they had the third one coming out this year.
Exactly. They wouldn't have it. Well, that's just Sony milking the cow.
And Adam Sandler.
Yeah. But still, it's super big that this is bigger than that year, and they had all those. Like,
yeah, that's true.
That shows that 3 movies and Venom, 4 movies, I guess, put them at that point, and they haven't even had Spider-Man and Holmes and Watson, which aren't going to be Spider-Man will be pretty big.
Spider-Man's going to be pretty big. Yeah.
Just because it's an oddity, and Holmes, it's like you're gonna have your people that like those funny movies that go and see that, and I'll see that movie. That's easy. But good on Sony. I know Sony's been the punching bag from their hacks, a couple years back till just
a few hacks actually.
Yeah. So and they're not doing they're doing good on PS4.
Yeah, that's their saving grace.
But I mean, if you think about
electronics-wise, who buys a Sony phone who buys Sony TVs.
Yeah.
I mean, people buy Sony TVs, but not as much as Samsung or LG.
Samsung is way more reliable at this point, too.
Or even Vizio, people buy more of.
Yeah. And you know what's really sad you see about Sony is that it used to be Sony was such a big product.
Yeah.
Now it's just Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's really like all Sony has anymore. Is...
I mean, that Spider-Man game was one of their biggest sellers in a long time.
Oh, it probably put them way past. I guarantee you, alone, they probably did better than Hotel Transylvania 3 did, and actually all three movies. It probably did better than all three of those movies did because it's a video game. It's $60. Yeah, and it's going to be sold tremendously at $60. That's a huge.
As opposed to $10 a ticket.
Yeah. Also, Ezra Miller responded to. Speaking of like comic books,
what?
We were just talking about Ezra Miller. Responded to the rumors that Batman is Ben Affleck is quitting Batman.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about this?
Okay, so apparently this was a interview at Playboy. Just a small snippet he discussed. He said when there are leaks of information or however people get stuff, it's pretty unreliable. So basically what he's saying is the claims that were made earlier this year were that Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck were no longer going to be in their roles. And right now Warner Brothers is also denying it. So it's kind of makes me wonder who is releasing this information.
You know what? To be honest, when we got this information, a lot of like unreliable YouTubers were following it. I don't think even like new rock stars who I've been watching recently, and they do comic book movies, they didn't even report on it.
On this?
Yeah.
About Ezra talking about it?
Not Ezra, just Superman and Ben Affleck being out of the movie.
Oh.
So like now it makes me think like I wonder if that's the case. This is really super confusing.
Yeah.
For WB, and they need to address this because it's just going to keep hurting them if they don't say. And obviously, he says that they've said that it's not true. Then they need to come out with a public statement and say,
"I know.
Hey guys, we have no movies for Superman and Batman, but they're still going to be part of the universe."
Yeah,
I think that's casting less of a shadow. They're being transparent. At this point, they've been like, "Oh yeah, we totally have them still. Like even though Ben Affleck's in rehab, like we won't talk about it." That's how they've been.
Yeah.
And they need to finally say something about it.
My only thing is maybe it's still up in the air for them even.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because they're still trying to figure out what's his situation with his rehab.
Mm-hmm. And then, but like we were talking about earlier, he's going to be extremely expensive because what happens if he has another wagon fall off?
Yeah.
And, you know, then it becomes cost to the production. Like, hey, well, we have to send him to rehab again. And all that weight or all that muscle he built up is gone because he's, not working out there as much, or he doesn't have that same personal trainer. So it's super untransparent right now. And it's understandable if they're talking about it, but if they're not and they already know what's going on, they asked both of them, they need to say something. Because like this, if they come out next year and they're like, oh, by the way, when they were talking about it last year, we totally did can them. People are going to be like,
what the heck?
Yeah, like, why didn't you say that when it happened? Why did you leave it up so ambiguous?
And have Ezra Miller and other random people talk about it.
Yeah.
Instead of the production company itself.
So, and people are waiting for that, like, the Flash movie is supposed to come out next year. And
supposed to.
Yeah.
Has it even started filming? I don't even know.
No, I don't think they, and if they have, it's been in the early stages because there's no news about it. I sit on Reddit and I watch the movie news, so it's never come up, and I'm a big Flash fan. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, he did really well.
So I'd love to see that, but to be honest, I just don't think that they have the heart to have another. I think they're, like we said earlier, I think they're waiting on Aquaman to see how that fares.
Oh, here it is. It says Warner Bros. Pushed the production of Flash to late 2019.
Yeah. That I knew.
So it won't hit theaters until 2021 at the earliest.
Wow.
Jeez. But also on Ben Affleck's plate, he's currently supposed to have Accountant 2 in the works. This movie called The Has-Been. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then Torrance.
And I think we were just talking about this. The Accountant 2 does not need to have a movie.
No, I felt like the first one was great,
Uh-huh.
and they should have just left it as a one-off.
Yeah, and if you were to make another one, I think that really would hurt
It'll be like The Equalizer 2.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Equalizer 2 didn't need a sequel. The
It
first
didn't.
one was great.
And I think that the fact that they pushed it so late, The Equalizer 2, I
Yeah.
think that's better. If they had pushed it out like the next year or the year after that, it would have been like,
True.
okay, what are we doing here? I like that they did that. I'm not going to go see it because of that.
Yeah.
Or not because of that, but because it's another movie and I can see it when it comes out on DVD like it did this week.
Exactly. It's
I
not
can
something
rent it.
new. It's
Yeah.
not going to be anything new to the table.
So at this point, it makes you wonder how he's picking his movies for, either money or the fact that he wants to do it as an artist. Because that taking account 2 makes me feel like that's going to be the axe on that one. So
Yeah. And then last on our list here, we have news that Apple is eyeing A24 to either A, purchase them, or B, make them have exclusive rights with them to make movies for them on their streaming service. Because Apple has been reportedly for years planning on making their own streaming service.
and that doesn't surprise me because I've had Apple since I have my Apple account is still linked to my AOL account.
Yeah.
Even though I have it send emails to my Gmail.
Oh yeah.
But it's been so old, and they just have never done anything with it.
They should have done it a long time ago.
Yeah. Because, when they picked up, they did an exclusive a while ago for music videos.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. When they
Uh-huh.
were doing music videos exclusively on there, and then it was for Apple Music.
Was that when they had Apple, the iPod video came
Yes, it was right when the iPod video came out, and they had a lot of exclusive music videos that came out with albums, and that weren't released right away to MTV.
out? Yeah.
So
They had a lot of exclusives, I remember.
a huge amount, and they just never did anything. They could have started a service for it. They have their movies, like their iTunes movies that you can rent and everything,
Yeah, or purchase too.
or purchase. But they need to have something like where they're making their own movies, because that would just be an extra revenue stream. And I wonder why people don't have extra revenue streams.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can afford to buy a house and rent it out to somebody, that way you're making an extra revenue on the side.
Especially when this is a supposedly quote-unquote $1 trillion company.
Yeah.
Come on. But apparently they were also in talks of buying MGM and Lionsgate, or not buying them, but having exclusive rights with them. But that has since been axed, and now it seems like A24 is the go-to.
Yeah. And I think that the typical iPhone user is pretty artistic in the sense that they watch movies on it. They're gonna have different apps that you can kind of bend the system, not get. We were talking about Brave is a big one that we use, but
Oh,
I
yeah,
use
Brave, the mobile browser.
I use it on my my Apple, my laptop.
Yeah.
And it works great, but I use it on my phone, and to be honest, like most of the time, it won't pull up videos, it won't do anything. So, and I have an Android, so it's a difference, and I know that you use it and you have no problem with it.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a lot of different things that you can do with Apple, like especially movie-wise. You can make your own app for it, instead of having Apple Music, and you have to use Apple Music to watch your movies.
Yeah, because they're still doing their TV show on the Apple Music streaming service.
Yep.
So are they going to finally branch it off
Mm-hmm.
and cut it off, or have its own streaming service?
Yeah.
Or still keep the same, service name?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think this would be great if they got to A24, because that's a personal favorite of ours.
Yeah.
Especially like the fact that Ex Machina, you got Lady Bird, Room, Disaster Artist,
Fifth Grade, Hereditary.
Oh yeah, and they're just wholesome movies. So it's something that I could see Apple definitely investing in, and I would be very happy if they did, because that's one that you'd get more A24 movies for one.
Yeah.
And it'd be backing A24, so it'd probably give them a little bit more money to work with, and I think that...
Good for them, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would help push a little bit more movies out. I know that there's a lot of movies that come out at A24 each year, but I mean, like, maybe push some out that are bigger, that really can campaign more too. Because I don't think they have money to campaign these movies, and that's why they don't. Either that, or they're just doing that as a marketing campaign.
Yeah.
And I'm very much for that too. But it would be nice to see A24 get some money.
And right now, moving on to the half of the show where we touch on the trailers that came out this week.
We got movie trailers. First up, we've got Detective Pikachu, the first trailer, and man, this was a crowd pleaser right away. I think this was like number one on the list of most watched videos for a couple days.
Oh yeah, on YouTube.
But I watched Max Mofo. Do you know who that is?
Of course.
So I watched Max Mofo do a review on this, and I don't normally
he
watch.
must have done it on his second channel then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I'm subscribed to his first channel.
Yeah,
his second is always the Pokemon unboxings.
Yeah, so it was
like, whatever.
Yeah, it was the Pokemon unboxing one. And he actually, it portrayed it perfectly, because at first he's like, nah, fuck this shit, this is stupid, this looks ugly.
Really?
And then he's like, it slowly hits him like in a wave, like,
oh, reaction
wow.
trailer.
Yeah, and he's like, wow, actually, I really like this. And it goes from like, I don't like this at all, like this looks like a furry, movie or something like that, to like, more I think it was when Jigglypuff finally shows up with the marker. Mm-hmm. It's like super crazy, and he's like, oh man, I really like this. And that's kind of how it was, like watching this.
Same. And I'm like, what the heck, Pikachu looks very odd.
And then the second that Ryan Reynolds started speaking, I feel like that was like, oh god. And then I realized like throughout the dialogue, it's just Deadpool doing Pikachu. Like, and it works so perfectly. I mean, look at the popularity. It's at number, like, went up 9 in just this week.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking about it a month ago, and it was so down. Like, it was like, I think it was 400 down.
Pokemon movie.
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu, which is a DS game.
Yeah. And I think that the big part is that the Pokemon around, they look so good.
That looks awesome. Like Squirtle, they have Psyduck,
Charizard, the Greninjas. Like,
it looks like those are like the main villains.
Yeah, or like the Pokemon that like the Team
Rocket will use, or whatever it is.
And if that's the case, good on fucking them, because I'm tired of seeing Meowths, Coughings, Ekans, and it's also, I think it's a little bit more towards the first generation, because I mean there's a couple of like Greninja, but other than that they're all first generation.
Yeah, I think that's smart on them, because people that will see this movie probably haven't played all the new games.
No.
They're going to see it because, hey, it's Pokemon. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, there'll be kids that have played it.
Of course.
But I'm sure, like, for me, I haven't played any of the newer generations.
No, yeah, and like, people are going to be like, what's a Greninja,
True, but if you play Super Smash Brothers...
No, I know.
It's in that.
Yeah.
So...
But that's smart on them to do that, because you're going to have more people that are going to go, oh, okay, this is they have like Rayquaza up there.
Yeah, they could recognize these older generation Pokemon.
Yeah, so good on them. This looks like a great...
And you nailed it. You said it's going to be looking like the Jungle Book.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
We
were talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
And they pretty much looks like that type of quality.
Yeah, and the Pokemon look great. I mean, he's all fuzzy. I've always imagined Pikachu as like kind of like a hairless rat.
Yeah.
And like just like super yellow, that's all. But they have him all fuzzy, like I think
like a stuffed animal almost.
Yeah, Charizard's like that too. If you watch where he's like going to bite Pikachu at one point, like his face is just all furry.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to cause a whole new generation of furries, but I'm okay with that. Just more than like the furries we already deal with today.
Yes.
But yeah, great on them. I think this was like a trailer that we were both really concerned about.
Yeah.
And it coming out is really surprising.
Really
beautiful. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like the boy's going to team up with a girl trainer. She has a Psyduck, and kind of don't really know the plot here.
Well, it doesn't come out till when? Next year? At what time?
Oh, when does it come out? May.
Yeah, so they're not going to release anything right now. It's just like, you think about it, Infinity War comes.
Oh,
not
yeah,
Infinity,
you're right.
Avengers 4 comes out, but that makes it even more apparent that they're going to release a trailer coming out for that.
And I remember seeing like a Dark Pokemon movie on YouTube, like a fan-made one.
Mm-hmm.
and this looks even better than that. And that was actually really good at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, dude, and that's what Max Mofo says. It looks like a fan-made movie, but it looks better. And it looks good, like it actually has some production value to it.
Exactly. Can you smell this trailer?
No, I'm Vin Diesel.
This looks like a fun movie. I kind of saw a teaser of this a few months ago. Evan was showing me it.
You should probably say what the title is.
Oh yeah, Funny with My Family, which is a WWE movie. It's about a former wrestler and his family making a living performing at small venues around the country, while his kids dream of joining the worldwide wrestling entertainment business. This is being directed by Stephen Merchant and written by Stephen Merchant. Starring, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Florence Pugh, Lena Headey, and the father is Nick Frost, the comedian.
Yeah, this looks like a fun movie. You got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson that plays a really funny. He plays himself.
Oh, he plays himself.
Yeah, and I think that makes him even funnier because he can just be as goofy as he wants.
Exactly.
That's just his character. And I'm a big fan of Stephen Merchant. I'm a huge fan. If you've never seen Hello Ladies, it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It's a great show. It's about him trying to get ladies. He's from Britain. He comes to America, and he's just like this terrible pickup artist. But great show. He's a great writer.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote on that, produced that. So I'm really excited to see this because his comedy is British, but he brings a lot of American comedy to his movies, and then you can see a lot of that here. You see there's half British, there's half where it's American as well.
Yeah, because the family in this movie is from Britain,
Mhm.
and they come to America.
Yep.
But it's gonna be cool to see this because it's gonna have a lot of WWE stars in it. You got Sheamus, you got Courtney, Kristen, you got the Big Show. So it's gonna be a really good fan service movie for WWE fans.
Mhm.
And also it looks like a fun movie to take your family with to see.
Yeah.
It's PG-13, comes out February 14th, Valentine's Day.
Yep.
2019.
A couple of February movies so far, or I mean, Valentine's Day movies so far.
Yeah.
I believe. So they're gonna spam them on every holiday now. They're like, that's how we get them in. And up next we have Dumbo, which is a 2019 movie that's released in March 2019. Sorry, I wanted to do that fast. Disney and Tim Burton, and I really don't know how I feel about this movie.
Yeah.
It looks great. It looks fantastic. It looks really sad.
Yeah.
Even the trailer was just like super depressing.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be
definitely be a tearjerker.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Tim Burton.
Didn't look like Tim Burton at all.
Didn't feel like it at all either.
No.
It's like almost like Disney was like, we want Tim Burton to be part of this, but we're gonna basically choose everything.
We're gonna blind you.
Yeah, like you can't see any of it. At the end, we'll reveal it. You can watch an hour of it.
But we'll have your friend Dana. He'll help you out in this.
It just looks like there's a lot of characters in it. So it kind of I don't remember the storyline for Dumbo. I remember like the big parts. I don't remember the characters.
Yeah.
So like it almost feels like super. I know that Colin Farrell's supposed to be like the good guy in it. Michael Keaton, I'm sure, is gonna be the bad guy. Danny DeVito's gonna be the good guy or the bad guy, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those Disney films that they need to stop making remakes because it becomes, I know that they're trying to do like the whole. I think they're trying to make like their own universe again.
Oh, they're gonna do their whole universe?
I don't think that's
so.
not in the news, but I'm pretty sure they'd like to have it so that way, like, I don't know.
I know what they're doing right now is remaking all their classics.
Yeah, exactly. They're
live
doing
action
that in the animated versions of it, the live action animation like Pikachu and like obviously they're humans, but you have to add your animals. Your animals are always going to be CGI.
Exactly.
I don't really get why they're doing this. I get
just to make money,
but like it makes me feel like as a person that likes films
Yeah.
It kind of makes me hate these movies a little bit more. That's why I didn't see The Jungle Book.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a cash grab. I've seen The Jungle Book 15 times.
Right.
I really don't need to see it another time animated. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with Dumbo.
Well, it's kind of like people get excited about live action anime movies.
Mm-hmm. No, they
it's
do
like the
right
same
now.
thing.
It is true, and putting Tim Burton on it makes it even more of
A grab.
yeah, because they're gonna be like, oh, well,
Tim
it's gonna
Burton.
it's gonna be dark, it's gonna be cool, and yeah, it does have that kind of that feeling, but it also has that feeling of like
It doesn't look like Beetlejuice. Doesn't look like Batman. Doesn't look like Nightmare Before Christmas.
it's one of the softest storylines that you could have, like Tim Burton for me doing this is kind of like a waste of money.
Yeah.
Like almost like we could have had something that was more action packed. It looks action packed. It looks beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but it's not something that I can see myself spending a ticket for. I already know how it's going to end, and I'm sure there's going to be something else that comes out. And,
And I'm sure this will be one of the first movies on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, probably will release it alongside, or not alongside. They're going to probably release
In
these
theaters
movies.
first.
Well, no, the next animated movies. Like I think Aladdin comes out next year.
Yeah.
But it's gonna go like right when they're done and they're ready to put it out. They're gonna put it out just like they've been putting out a lot of the Disney and Marvel shows.
Yeah.
Or the DC shows. They take those right away and put them on Netflix. Pretty sure they're gonna try and do that just so that way they can get more viewership in these. Because I don't think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be big in the theaters, but I don't think they're gonna be as big as they want it to be.
Not as big as the originals.
No,
No.
not at all.
Well, that is going to do it for movie trailers. Let's get into our review of the week.
Yeah. Wow. So we saw
WIDOWS.
This week. And I think we saw the first trailer. I mean, we could probably even go back and archive and find what we said about the first trailer of it.
Yeah.
Because I think I was like a huge I wasn't a big fan of it. I don't think I was. And
You still looked okay.
It looked okay, yeah, but I didn't think it was gonna. You're so used to seeing these. I think we talked about this too. Ocean's 8 was just way too campy. This was dark. It was gritty. It was a passion project. They even said that at the beginning. He even says that before the movie starts. There's a little thing that says, "Thank you for coming to the movies."
Yeah.
He says, "This is my passion project. I've been working on this since I was 15." And there's so much detail in this movie. I really had no real quips with this movie.
Yeah, you know who worked on this with him for screenplay is Gillian Flynn.
Oh yeah,
She did Gone Girl.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why it's probably really well done.
Yeah, okay.
Story-wise.
Yeah, Gillian.
Or Gillian Flynn. Gillian.
Yeah. Yeah. It was so surprising. I really didn't think that it was gonna be as good as it was.
Yeah, and the cinematography was amazing.
Yep.
I want to look up who did that real quick. You can go over who's in it.
But the actors, we have Michelle Rodriguez, Viola Davis, Liam Neeson, who said he wasn't going to be in movies anymore, John Berthel. Movie reviews. There's just so many people in this movie, and they all mesh so well together because it pulls from, I think, 3-4 different stories, and it's one of those. I was saying to Kenny last night when I was talking about it.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that kicks you in the nuts.
Oh yeah.
At the end of it, you're like, you think you know what's going on. It seems so open-ended.
Little twists.
And there's little twists, and they just keep twisting it too. Like it's almost like a
knife in your
yeah.
side.
You're just like, ow, and you're like, okay, we're good here. And then it's like, ow, ow, oh. I'm like noticing all this other stuff.
Yeah,
so
not only is it drama, a heist movie, but it's also emotional.
Mhm.
There's a lot of emotion in it. But yeah, the cinematographer is Sean Babbitt. He worked on 12 Years Slave with Steve McQueen.
Mhm.
He also worked on Shame with Steve McQueen, and then the remake of Old Boy.
yeah.
So
and that was a beautifully shot movie.
yeah,
Oh, boy,
even
the
though it wasn't
remake.
as good as the original,
No,
it's still
God, no.
Beautifully shot. And the kicker is Hans Zimmer was the musical director in this.
It's kind of funny that we didn't know that because I felt super anxious during this movie, and I don't usually feel that way about movies.
Yeah.
And it's usually the music that always does that to me. It's not the action. Like, it's always like even in scary movies. It's because they're so well anymore. The score is like so well directed. So really, I was wondering about that the other night. Like, why was it so impactful?
Yeah, because it's very like undertone music in this movie. It's not like it's not overpowering. The people
you don't
talking.
even know what's going on.
Yeah.
And once the scene's over, you're like, what was that? Why was that so anxious? And it's crazy like acting. It's really good acting.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely like the tone of it was just so nice. So
basically it touches on social like what's going on right now with social issues, as well as classism. There's a lot of classism in this movie.
Colin Farrell's in it. He plays a senator. I think that he did a really good job. You kind of go into the trailer thinking you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
But really, it's like I said, with that kick in the nuts, it's super surprising. You don't know what's going on.
And I think this was a great women empowering movie.
Yeah. That's the other thing I touched on with
Ocean's 8.
It was.
I think this is a lot better.
Yeah, they tried to make it funny, and that kind of takes away from the whole. Because he had like different things in it that kind of convolute the women's power. This just shows like, hey, my husband's out of the picture, or my boyfriend, and I'm gonna do the job I'm supposed to, and like the twists and turns that they have with the girls in it. It's really fun to watch, and they make it to where they do just such a compelling job acting. Viola Davis is just so good in this. It almost, what was it? I was thinking in my head, like it almost feels like I'm watching like a TV show where they go through like how it was done.
Yeah.
And it was just so well thought, and it brings you back to British heist movies. Mm-hmm. They've always been a huge, like in the '90s they were big, in the early 2000s with Rock and Rolla, a couple other Guy Ritchie films. This almost felt like a Guy Ritchie film without the comedy in it.
Exactly, yeah. Well, I think Steve McQueen is British.
Mm-hmm. He is. Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure he has a lot of inspiration from those movies. Mm-hmm. And it kind of also felt like the way it was shot was almost kind of like Gone Girl and Batman Begins too. Yep. I felt like that. Mm-hmm. It just had like that feel to it.
Yeah.
Like the cinematography of it.
It was just... we will talk about one scene that we had where... Colin Farrell, like, he has this talk in his assistant, or no, is his girlfriend? Because you say he's fucking her at one point.
Oh,
yeah,
maybe it's his girlfriend. Then,
girlfriend and assistant, or whatever they were. She is, but they're showing them get into this car.
Yeah, it's a limo.
Yeah, and it shows the front of the limo, and it pans from right to left on the front of the limo while they're talking. So it's almost like it's an undercover.
You just see the front windshield the whole time, and then the side view of this the street and the houses that they're passing.
And that's the one scene where I told you that the girl is running. There's a character in this movie that ends up being one of the drivers and the babysitter, and it's like kind of like she's shoehorned in there almost.
Yeah.
But at a couple of the scenes, you see a person running, and it's like a distinct shot where you see it's the only person you see. There's a person, like two people standing on the side, and you just see her go across the whole screen, running across. And that was the big thing, is she's like running. She doesn't use the buzz.
Yeah, she's really in shape.
Yeah.
Girl.
So I thought there's a lot of shots where you probably can see something, because that's why I want to see this again.
Yeah, there's a lot of hidden elements.
Yeah, and I feel like once. Our movie details is going to be going nuts on this one when it comes out on DVD. You're just going to be able to pull a lot of stuff that, like, wow, like, there's a lot of twists in it that you're going to be able to go back and watch and go, I wonder what, when this happened, that happened. So,
yeah. I think this will also be a movie that actually might, actually listen to the commentary.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes out.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to hear his take on everything, because it's very organic. It feels like it's been worked on for a long time. It doesn't feel like it's like a movie, like down to the point where we said, wow, like they're releasing the trailer a little late, and they never released any other trailers for it.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that we never got any more exposure, because when we went in and watched it, the trailer trailer seemed like it gave everything away,
but it didn't at all.
No.
And not to mention the two brothers. What were their names? Brian Trey Henry, and the guy that was in that guy.
Oh, Daniel Cavale.
Cavale. Those guys were great.
Oh yeah,
villains.
And they didn't command, like, they had a presence, but they didn't command like a. It was like a chilling performance. Like they like at one scene, Daniel, his characters, they're like talking to these two guys that let them steal money.
The hip artist guys?
Yeah, the hip hop artists, and one of them's beatboxing, one of them's rapping.
That was
actually pretty good.
He's just staring at him.
He's just staring at him like, like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And then he's like, like, oh, it's really good. And then he pulls out a gun and just shoots him. Like, and luckily that's not spoiling anything. It's in the trailer.
Yeah.
But it's just like he did such a good job playing this unhinged person, and down to like the ending of it, he's just, and we don't really see any more of Jamal. His name's Jamal Manning.
Oh,
he's running. We don't see him at the end on how everything ends, but we do see how Daniel ends in the end of it, and it's just like it's a well paid off story arc.
Oh yeah. Right now, this is probably one of my favorite movies this year, if not my favorite. I know there's still going to be at least 5 movies that I'm thinking are going to be up there right now. One of them being Vice. So this movie is definitely one to see. I know we said that to quite a bit of movies, like even Bohemian Rhapsody. That was a good movie. But this movie was really good. You know?
And it was such a surprising one too, because like I said, we watched the trailer and we were like, we don't know.
I thought it was gonna be okay.
Yeah,
a good movie, but I didn't think it'd be great.
No, and sitting through it, I think it was probably like an hour and 40 minutes. It didn't. I felt like they could have kept going. Like honestly, like it could have. It didn't drag. It did not.
It's 2 hours and 9 minutes long.
Yeah, and it just
didn't even feel like it.
It went through. I mean, it felt like 2 hours, but it didn't. I wasn't sitting there the whole time like wanting to check my clock and see what it was. So it definitely keeps you going the whole time. It doesn't stop. The one gripe that I will have with it was I didn't understand why that girl, the girl dating she was becoming an escort.
Almost. The Polish lady.
Yeah. I don't understand the whole storyline with the guy because it never comes back.
No, I think she just leaves him.
Yeah, and like it almost makes it look kind of douchey. I don't know if they were trying to portray that this is what girls do, or something like that. But him finding the map, just them having sex and him being like, oh look, that looks like a safe room. Yeah. Can you tell me who it was? No questions asked. Yeah. That was my only gripe with it.
True.
But other than that, it was well paid off and all around good movie.
Oh yeah. I think next week we'll touch base on that Disney animated movie we saw. I think we give us time. I don't know.
We're just gonna rip the Band-Aid off because the trailer came out this week. We didn't talk about it, but Toy Story 4 did release a teaser trailer and a couple of a scene from it. And I've told a couple people, so I have no problem telling people that it happened because I'm sure people talk about it. But we did get to screen Toy Story 4 last week, so we did see the whole movie. What is made of it so far? It was a bunch of storyboards as well, so it wasn't
a good majority of it was storyboard.
Yeah, I think the beginning and the end, which is how movies are done. We can't talk about it, obviously, because we're barred from discussing.
The embargo is lifted, I guess.
Yeah, and that's a week before the movie, so we really can't say anything. But we can say it was fun. It was what they talked about, emotional. It was a good movie. But
as far as we can go.
That being said, we won't be reviewing the trailer when it comes out because.
Yeah,
we can't. If we do,
it's the same thing.
We could leak anything that happens, and we just don't want to do that. So I mean, we can talk about how it was either good or bad, or it was but we can't.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's all we can say. We did sign legal documents, so that's the big thing,
right?
But just kind of to clarify, if you ever go, if anyone ever wonders, well, why don't you talk about Toy Story 4 or anything? Well, we can't.
We don't want to get in trouble. We put our phone numbers down and our names.
Yeah, and so, but we can say at least that it was a really good movie, and we can't wait for it to come out.
Yes.
So,
but that is going to do it for this week's Movie Lowdown. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Did we have a question of the week this time?
I do.
Nice.
If you didn't see the Pikachu trailer, please go see it. It's a great trailer if you like Pokemon.
Mhm.
And if you do, what Pokemon do you think are going to be the obscurities in it? Because they did show Charizard, they showed like a lot of generic Pokemon.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want to see their deep cuts. I don't know who they put out there. I know that they put that new Pikachu that they had, like the black and white one, Megula or whatever.
Oh, the one that's kind of like a fake Pikachu?
Yeah, flying rat one. They had a scene with like 3 of them just chilling there, so I'd love to know what your obscurity. I'd love to see.
I feel like there's gonna be a lot of Easter eggs of hidden
Yeah.
Pokemon in this.
I would love to see. I do know that they have Greninjas as the I'm guessing the bad guys in the movie because they have like 3 of them chasing
You know what?
somebody.
I would love to see like Gengar or Haunter.
Yes.
That'd be so cool to see. But I don't know if they'll have them. Because it seems like ghost Pokemon. I don't know if they'll be like in a detective movie. Or
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll play a part in it at one point. But I'd love to see the bad guys have Weaviles.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Pokemon.
That or Houndoom.
Houndoom would be a really cool one to see
Yeah.
as well. So, what would your Pokemon that you'd like to see in the movie, and do you think you'll see it? Because like I said, Weavile, I could easily see being one of the bad guys.
Yeah, that'd be really cool to see.
And if they're pulling Pokemon from the Smogon games and Greninja, like from the Smash games, it'd be cool to see some of those that are part of that.
Oh yeah.
In the movie.
But other than that, don't forget to check out our friends' podcast, the Chocolate Starfish. I have a link down below. Other than that, thank you guys once again for listening and watching. I am TJ Washuk.
And I am Connect 4.
We love you, and good night.
Stop calling me Sarah.
This has been a Two Guys production.